Hello, good people. Heidi ho. So I just want to say real quick, Cody Mark here, and we'll let you know, WWE, you done messed it up. TKO, you stank. This is your boy Cool McCain, and I am joined as always by my guy, the other monarch, full time of wrestling, the playmaker himself. Playmaker, what's good, my dude?
um, Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the first Monarchs of Wrestling show where it's not going to be a normal show. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It's not going to be a normal show. It's so much to break down, and the crazy thing is, it might take us another whole show to actually break down everything that really happened with the fallout of Royal Rumble. And we told you the fallout of Royal Rumble gonna be something crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
We just didn't know how crazy.
Get your popcorn, get your wings, get whatever you need to snack on, because yeah, this is going to be a fun show today. but we'll get to that in a moment, okay? Because my man Cool did promise you guys of a certain fan base some recap from AEW. So, Mr. McCain, go ahead and get the AEW fans what they've been looking for.
So my AEW peeps, we're gonna make this quick, but we're gonna give you some info. All right. So we had on Wednesday night, they did the episode from the Lakefront Arena in New Orleans. They had some CMLL people there. We'll get into that in a second. Jeff Hardy fought John Moxley. In the crowd, you had Mystico, Hinchiro, Mascaro Dorado 2.0, and Voldar Jr. We could go through a whole lot about this match. Another night, I would go through a little bit more, but
you did say Jeff Hardy and John Moxley fought each other. Right?
I did so, yes.
I know how that match went.
Yeah, so Moxley put Jeff Hardy to sleep. Then Moxley went to shake his hand, and Jeff Hardy flipped John Moxley off. The CML wrestlers jumped in the ring to jump on Moxley. Moxley was trying to fight him off, but he couldn't. The BCC weren't there. So the locker room came out to help Moxley because you can't jump on our people even if we don't like them. You know how that go.
Yeah, so pretty much Jeff Hardy's a bad guy. Great.
So I'll just simply say from that, it's like if you like a certain promotion, but you don't like any of the trash they pulled on Friday. It's kind of like that situation. But you still will talk about them, but you don't like the trash they pulled. It's that type of situation. All right. Then we had the first of the Dealer's Choice matches. They were set up last week. Fortunately, we didn't get to talk about it. So Heyman and my boy, Mr. Swerve Strickland, Swerve When I Drive, they had Dealer's Choice matches where they picked opponents. They picked the opponent for each other. So Heyman picked one of his cronies from the Gates of Agony, Toa Leona, one of the Mogul Embassy people. Of course, we know who won the match. Heyman Adam Page won the match. All right. Wardlow then had a match with Commander. I don't do over anything of this to say we know who won that match.
The look on your face told it. You didn't even have to say that. The look on your face told it. As soon as you said who he fought, you just stood there for a minute, like.
Yeah, I'm remembering, like, why did they even do that? All right, they had a sit-down interview, Sting and Darby Allin against the World Tag Team Champions, Absolute Ricky Starks and Big Bill. Let's say Sting's going to the end of his run. I don't care who wins the match. If Sting and Darby win the championships, they'll be vacated in a couple of months anyway. So whatever. I like that they try to do something, but you got to be better. Feels like a Vince McMahon storyline. So Kyle Fletcher from
the y'all know Cool is not getting no help from any wrestling promotions right now. He is getting no help.
So Kyle,
This has been a bad week for Cool right now.
it really has. Kyle Fletcher, who is part of the Don Callis family, fought Chris Jericho. Um, Chris Jericho won. I don't think anyone's surprised about that. Then we had a promo. I would normally take time. I normally do the scissor and the bang bang, the bang bang scissor game. But that came out. They did their little stuff. They went to the back. Normally we'd have some fun with that, but
Nothing important was
yeah,
said.
yeah, we got to move. We need all the time we can get. All right, so Taya Valkyrie with Johnny Mundo, Johnny TV, Johnny Wrestling, Johnny whatever you want to call him, versus Deanna Perrazzo. Of course, Deanna Perrazzo won. She's the person that's important to this, and not Taya Valkyrie. You know she should be. She's not. All right, so then we have the main event, dealer's choice match. Heyman Adam Page was the pick of the opponent for Swerve Strickland. And the only thing I'm going to say of any detail about this match is I saw who it was and I was like, are you serious? This is what you came up with. This is the best you could do. Swerve Strickland fought Rob Van Dam. 10 years ago, this would have been a great match. This is not 10 years ago. Swerve Strickland won the match. Swerve Strickland, they reinstituted the rankings. He is now number one in the rankings. Number two is Hangman Adam Page. They're going to fight next week on Dynamite, and the winner gets a shot at Samoa Joe at Revolution for the AEW World Championship. They have Rampage, but I gotta be honest with you, we don't ever talk about Rampage because we just don't. And I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, so then we're gonna. Any thoughts, sir? I apologize. Any thoughts before we go to Collision, real quick?
Wow.
And also, good people, just so you're aware, we are pre-recording this show for several reasons. One is which we have a lot that we want to talk about. So we wanted to make sure that we didn't distract ourselves, and also, other commitments and things happen from time to time. So if you are writing in the comments and you're wondering why we're not focused on them, it's because we're not there. It's recorded. Want to make sure you know that early because we normally forget to on me, but not this time.
I'm just going to reiterate what I said just a few minutes ago. Yeah, wrestling this past week was not good to you.
So
at all.
The Continental Crown champion, Eddie Kingston, fought the bounty hunter, Brian Keith, on Collision. The important thing from this
match. I hate to be that guy, but who in the hell is Brian Keith?
So Brian Keith is a independent brother wrestler who has a bounty hunter gimmick. He did not win the match, of course, but he is All Elite. So he has been officially signed to All Elite Wrestling. So, that's cool.
Well, and then at least they signed somebody who did not leave WWE. I get him that credit.
True. And he's an up-and-coming guy, so he could learn, develop, and be better while he's there. So Heichiro versus Bryan Danielson. He's one of the luchadors from CMLL in this match. He fought Bryan Danielson. And Bryan Danielson won. After the match, he tried to hurt Bryan Danielson. But then Claudio was there from the BCC. He came out, and Heichiro disappeared. Then Hook took on two guys that you beat. They call themselves the Outrunners. And the House of Black interrupted it. Actually, they didn't interrupt it. Sorry. Hook won the match. No surprise. Then Mark Briscoe came out, and then he was interrupted by the House of Black, and that's that. All right. Then we had Queen Aminata versus Serena Deeb, and Serena Deeb won that match. Queen Aminata has a great entrance. She has really good gear, but they're not letting her win matches yet. Then we had Red Velvet versus Vert Vixen versus and the Patriarch versus FT Garcia. Don't know why they put these together, but Red Velvet won. Red Velvet is somebody that we know. Vert Vixen is somebody we don't. So then we had the main event: Christian Cage.
Red Velvet is on that special list on mine. So
I feel it. Um, Christian Cage, Kill Swift, and Nick Wayne, which are the patriarchy, took on Garcia TR. That's Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler, and Daniel Garcia. Of course, FTR and Daniel Garcia won. Daniel Garcia pinned Nick Wayne to win the match. Um, Not a very impactful collision, but that's okay. We did talk about AEW. We gave him a good 13 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever it was. So, yeah, AEW fans, I have done as promised. I promised last week I would talk about you guys today, and I have. Um, TNA fans, I'm going to owe you next week. We need the rest of this time. We need it. So, Playmaker, just so I don't get ahead of myself, because if I start talking WWE, there's only one thing that's going to happen.
I didn't know where you're going. So,
Please,
yeah,
sir. We had a Raw.
We're going to shift this over this week. Actually, you know what? No, I'm just going to do something a little different.
Do your thing.
Even though the main thing you want to talk about is the main thing that everybody's focusing on, part of that main thing that happened reverted back to what happened on Monday Night Raw. Like I said, there's a lot to break down in this whole situation. A lot to break down. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and jump into the main part. Right? So if you already know, and if you somehow you don't know this because you're living on the rock for some other reason, it seems, I'm going to put it like this, it seems as your 2024 Warrior Rumble winner, Mr. Cody Rhodes himself, gave up his WrestleMania title shot to the new man on the TKO executive board, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Now, remember, I said it seems, because what you have to realize, we still got we got the rest of this month and all of March to get through before we even get to Philly. By the way. So there's a lot that can happen in 2 months. One of the things that when I had my old Western Soul Game things, what I used to say cool was cards subject to change. And if me and you have watched WWE as long as we have, we know that card can change. It can be one thing all the way up to the night of the show and something changed. So, but as of right now, how they showed it on Friday Night SmackDown, The Rock, Roman Reigns. Now, before Cool gets in on here, and I give him about 5 minutes to go in real quick, one thing that I noticed, no words were spoken between the cousins. They just looked at each other. That was an interesting thing. Because we both know The Rock loves to talk. Roman Reigns, he'll talk, do his thing, he good. But no words was spoken since The Rock came out. They just stared at each other. As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, while the show was on, The Rock didn't even look at the championship. He kept staring at Roman Reigns. So on the surface, it could be the WWE Universal Championship match, or maybe they sprinkle something in there that might suggest maybe it's not. By the fact that The Rock never looked at the title and Roman Reigns just kept looking at each other, it's almost felt like it's a family rivalry going on here. Go ahead, Cool.
It doesn't matter if it's for the championship or not. It doesn't matter. I want to take you back in time just a few moments before that. And again, as I expressed at the beginning of the show, the thoughts and opinions that I have is from those of a Cody Mark. I am an admitted and proud Cody Mark. If you have a problem with that, that's something you need to work out within your own soul because it doesn't affect me at all. So, Cody said, I want to beat you for the championship, not just to win the championship, but I want to take it all from you. Right? And then, as he's talking, I have this sinking feeling within me. And he looks at him and he says the words that made me want to be a Arlington football fan after they lose in the playoffs and just attack something. He said, not at WrestleMania. When he said those words, the analytical part of me completely just shut down the fan in me. Like, no, you're done. You can't be a part of this for the rest of the show. Out comes he says, but this guy, right? Out comes the Rock. Rock shakes Cody's hand, brings him in for a hug, whispers something in his ear. Only thing he said. Cody turns around.
I want to know what he said. I want to know what he said though, because there was a smile in there. That part, that I'm just saying, that part makes me want to. I'm gonna let you finish because I have a lot of different things in my head.
What I want to know is what The Rock said in their boardroom to get his hind parts inserted here. And you know what I wish that Triple H would have said to him in there?
You know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
You know,
that's what Triple H would have said to The Rock in there.
You know, there's a lot of stories being put out there, and you always know all of them ain't true.
That's true.
The truth is somewhere in the mist.
Well, I can tell you one part that we know is true. The Rock figured out a way to politic his hind parts into possibly being in the main event of night 2 at WrestleMania. And we know that Triple H has been working on this story for Cody for 2 years. So we know that Triple H wouldn't walk up in there and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Let's do it that way. But remember, even though he's the head of creative, there's a board that he has to answer to.
Yep.
It's not like when Vince owned the company.
I'm glad you brought him up because, by the way, that part is a part of this too.
Yep. So let me finish this because I'm all over the place. I can go 17 different ways to be ready right now. But the only other thing I really wanted to say is it's a shame that we allow brittle feel, because that's what he's known for now. He's no longer CM Punk to me. He is peanut brittle feel.
All right,
because this man has no health. This man has no bone structure. This man has no ability to stay healthy. And I want to put it out there. He was in AEW for years. He was hurt like 3 times while he was there. This man cannot stay healthy wherever he's at. So it was smart to save his first match to the Royal Rumble. It was not smart to not have him come in mad late. He should have been entrant number like 29. Because brittle feel is a problem. Now, before we go any further, there's one other thought I have to get out. There was other things I want to say, but this has taken precedent in my mind. Correct me if I'm wrong, Playmaker. The last time that The Rock had a full-time match, he ended up having to have surgery afterwards. After he had a full match.
Yeah, we talked about the match with John Cena at WrestleMania when John Cena got the revenge and won the belt.
So we're talking about what, 10 years ago?
But at the same time, credit to Rock, he did finish that match.
He did, but
he finished that match.
So 10 years ago, roughly, right? Roughly 10 years. It was your last match, your last full-time match. You had to have surgery after that. So years later, close to if not 10 years, I'd have to go back and do the math, but close to if not 10 years. You think you're gonna come back and have a full match at WrestleMania on night 2, and you're not gonna get hurt, and you're not in wrestling shape. So what I want to say to that is,
maybe
stop the cap.
11 years ago, WrestleMania 29.
Stop the cap.
New Jersey.
Dwayne
By the
Rock
way,
Johnson,
live research
stop the
people.
cap. Stop the cap.
All right.
That's all I want to say about that right now.
All right. So, okay. He brought up 2 key points. One, CM Punk getting injured. Now, one thing we got to do before next week's show, we need to find out when CM Punk got hurt and who was in the match at that point in time. Because a lot of people kept saying it should have been Gunther, but I'm trying to figure out, was Gunther was still in the Royal Rumble match at that time when Punk got hurt, or was he already eliminated, which kind of put them in the bind as well. That's
from
one thing.
my understanding. Drew McIntyre was in the match. I think it was the Drew McIntyre elimination where he got hurt, because that's when he rolled out of the ring.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm saying, was Gunther still in the match at that moment in time? Because if Gunther was eliminated before CM Punk got hurt, maybe that's the reason why they couldn't change it up with Plan B.
Well, I don't think Gunther was ever Plan B. See, this is the problem. We work under the assumptions that they do logical Plan A's and Plan B's. They don't do that. And we know that because, number one, and I want to remind everybody, we still don't know if Seth Rollins is going to be ready for WrestleMania. We still don't know. He says he's going to be, but he's not a doctor. He can't clear himself to wrestle.
Yeah, I'm going to get to Seth Rollins.
So the Plan B should have been, injury happens. I put it in our chat earlier. You have a ready-made feud that's already been built that you could have slid right into the night 1 main event. And everybody would have been fine with it. And you didn't have to screw over my guy like you did. And that would have been simply saying, hey, Damian Priest has the briefcase. We're going to have him go out, take out Drew McIntyre, because we know Drew McIntyre is always trying to stop him. Built-in feud. Take out Drew McIntyre in the back. Go to the ring without Judgment Day. Beat the fool out of an injured Seth Rollins, pin him and win the belt. Judgment Day is like, oh, what are you doing? You do this without us, blah, blah, blah. They get mad. So they say, you know what? You think you run a Judgment Day? You don't run a Judgment Day. You're out of the Judgment Day. So Priest has a championship. They're still tag team champions. And now we got Elimination Chamber coming up. One-on-one match, Finn Balor, Drew McIntyre. I mean, not Drew McIntyre, excuse me, Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Damian Priest wins the match. So he goes to WrestleMania with a big-time win over the first Universal Champion to face Drew McIntyre, because he's like, oh, Drew, I got the belt before you if you want to come get it from me. So they end up having that feud take off, and they end up getting a championship match because they keep brawling every week, and the only way to stop it is to give them a championship match. That solves the problem. Money in the Bank is successfully cashed in. Seth Rollins can take the time he needs to come back. He didn't have to worry about being at WrestleMania. I know everybody wants to be at WrestleMania, but sometimes you got to sit down. When he comes back, whoever's the champ, when Seth Rollins is fully healed and returns, because he can get his back taken care of, everything. When he's fully healed and returns, whoever's the champ, he gets the opportunity, because he never actually, well, he lost the belt, but he never got a rematch.
You know, now that I'm thinking about it,
Story takes care of itself. But no, I know more than y'all do.
CM Punk gonna be gone for a minute. Seth Rollins gonna be gone for a long time.
What do you mean? He's fighting at WrestleMania.
No, I'm saying when Seth Rollins actually leaves, he's gonna be gone for. How many injuries we talking about? He got to take care of.
It's at least 3.
He gonna be gone for a long time. CM Punk, he'll be back somewhere close to SummerSlam. Put that pin in there, because circle SummerSlam, because that might be a bigger event this year than it has ever been.
Still not WrestleMania.
It's not. I'm just throwing little nuggets out there. Throwing little nuggets out there. All right. So that was my question 1. Question 2. This is on this whole thing with Vince McMahon, which inevitably and supposedly involve another big time star who was supposed to be in that Royal Rumble and part of WrestleMania. So that gets scrapped. So essentially, from TKO standpoint, you had 2 marquee names out the door. 1 because of injury, and 2 because of a scandal with the former owner of the WWE named Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I am talking about Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
So now maybe TKO panic because it's gonna be their first WrestleMania. Maybe they hit the panic button.
There's no maybe.
Just they hit. I'm trying to keep it neutral here, okay? Maybe they hit the panic button. They was like, man, we just lost 2 big names out of nowhere. What are we gonna do? And then, hey, Rock, do you want to do, the thing that you supposed to have done last year, but you couldn't do? And we had Cody, and they had Cody take your spot. By the way, most y'all should, maybe y'all forgot. Last year, WrestleMania was supposed to be Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. It was supposed to have been Rock versus Roman because it was in Hollywood. But The Rock has some scheduled things to do, many movies, which that couldn't happen. Fast forward almost a year later, they, in my view, as of right now, from when I first watched it, Cody Rhodes returned the favor, pretty much. So what it was been last year's WrestleMania, seeming to be this year's WrestleMania, and what was been this year's WrestleMania was last year's WrestleMania. Y'all, you follow me on that?
I follow you.
All right. Now, I did some. How can I put it? Well, I did what Cole Johnson and Snowman was not supposed to be doing, but I did it anyway. I peruse social media. After you see what you seen happen on SmackDown, I got to peruse social media. I got to see what's going on here. Get a lot of different angles here. Those who are like my man Cool McCain. Hashtag we want Cody. We want Cody. There's a few of them out there that says, remember when y'all wanted Rock versus Roman, but they had to find a way to make it happen? They just found a way to make it happen. Fine. You have a point there that was coming forward. And that Birmingham crowd was definitely coming forward. Or everybody else outside of Birmingham felt differently. All right. I took it a step further, cool. Even though we're not going to get the type of numbers that normally you would do something like this, I threw a poll out there. I just wanted to see whatever numbers I got. Just wanted to see what the feel was with the people that I know that watches wrestling, okay? Now, I got to say, I'm pretty surprised at the results. Because the people that voted on these polls, it was 65-35 in favor of Cody and Roman as they preferred main event of WrestleMania. Thought it'd be more of a landslide in that. So there are people actually out there who rather see Rock versus Roman. By the way, one of the persons that I do know, I can't wait to hear him talk on his podcast, Billy Ray. He did say he wanted to see Rock and Roman instead of Cody Roman Part 2. Billy's somebody that we respect because he been in the business for how long? Has Billy Ray been in this business?
A whole lot of years.
Yeah. So he has a feel for this type of stuff. So I'm looking forward to see what he says on his podcast. Bust it open. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm looking forward to see what he says and how this is going to work.
Well, see, I got two things. I've been quiet as long as I could. I've got two things. So Bully Ray is a guy who sees everything from the industry side. Piss on the industry side. We are fans. I don't care about the industry side. I care about what you're supposed to give me, what you led me to believe, and what you've had me buy into. So here's the problem. If you had any inclination whatsoever that there was going to be an issue, when Punk rolled out of the ring and told the ref, it's my tricep or whatever, and we know he's peanut brittle Phil, that's when you're supposed to call back and say, hey, there's going to be a problem with peanut brittle Phil. Who's the plan B to win the Rumble? Let's not have Cody win if he's not going to be able to finish the story. So here's the pieces that are the problem. I want to break this down for people who, not just Cody fans, but people who like to have a culmination to a storyline that was actually laid out for us and we were believed was going to happen. So last year, maybe it was supposed to be The Rock, Roman, okay? Whatever. There's been plenty of years where it was supposed to be this person versus this person. It didn't happen. So tell me, yes or no, do you believe that if Dwayne Johnson was not on the board of TKO, that this match would have been changed?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. Because I will say this, I must apologize to y'all because I did watch when The Rock was on First Take when the news broke. And I didn't bring it up at the time because I don't know why. It's my fault. I'll take full responsibility because Stephen A. did ask him about that match happening. I should have had an inkling then that this is actually possible because talk about a potential match on a show like First Take is not going to happen. Am I right?
You're right, but you still haven't answered the question.
I'm bringing that up. I'm bringing that up because I'm like, because when you ask that question, I say, they come back and like, I should have seen this coming. Is my point. I should have seen this coming.
That's cool, but yes or no? Will you think this would have happened if The Rock was not on the board of TKO?
So that's what I'm getting. I'm getting my answer. The answer, because I wasn't paying attention, so the answer is no. But if I was paying attention, like I was supposed to pay attention, I would have seen it coming.
No, but I'm not asking that you see it coming. I'm asking you.
But no.
If The Rock was not on the TKO board, would this match have been changed? Or possibly changed?
No. I think if CM Punk wouldn't have got hurt, it wouldn't have changed. More so than
I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Because keep in mind who won the Royal Rumble.
Cody.
Peanut brittle Phil did not win.
No, I know that.
So he didn't storyline have an opportunity to face anybody. What I think,
and I will say this because I think this is what
the day. Right?
I think this is where they really messed up. It's not. Most people focus on Cody winning the Royal Rumble. I think that's the wrong part of it to focus on. I think the part of the focus on is what Cody did after he won the Royal Rumble.
Well, that's all part of him winning. So we're not separating it in our mind. We're not separating the win from what he did after the win. Because if he doesn't win, he doesn't do that. You understand what we're saying?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's the first time we actually seen somebody who actually won the Royal Rumble and went ahead and just point to the person already. Usually they build it up. Storyline
wise, anything else is stupid. Anything else is asinine, just mollywop, just hogwash, poppycock, all that. Anything besides him doing that. Here's the real problem. WWE, TKO Holdings does not trust its entire roster. That's where the problem is at. Because you don't take Cody's shot at doing what he needs to do and give it to somebody because they should have had it last year, but they couldn't come. That's on you. That match did not have to happen at WrestleMania. You want the Rock star power? You don't need him in a match. He could have been a special guest enforcer. He could have been in Cody's corner. He could have been a ring announcer. He could have been a referee. You didn't have to have him physically insert himself into the match and take Cody's place for him to be part of it if you're that hungry for what you think he brings. And my other point, the other thing that ticks me off, we don't need a Brock Lesnar that doesn't move the needle anymore to show up for big events. I'm going to ask you a question. You're a wrestling fan. I'm going to ask you another question. Yes or no? Do you care if Brock Lesnar performs at WrestleMania?
No. I ain't even care. He was at the Royal Rumble. I enjoyed the men's Royal Rumble match. I came on this program last week and said WWE went the route of showing you how deep their talent roster is, and I have no problem with it.
But then they don't trust that same roster that showed you how deep it was for WrestleMania, because you had all those great guys that performed in the Royal Rumble match, and you don't want to put them in positions. Instead, you only want these three people at the top. Do I think a CM Punk Seth Rollins match would have been a big draw at WrestleMania? I'm gonna be in the minority and say no. You know why? They had a little verbal altercation on the mic. So did Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. So did Cody and CM Punk. CM Punk has been having these verbal altercations with everybody. So I don't see no great foreshadowing because Seth Rollins was the first one that had the conversation with him. It's following a pattern. That's what everybody's doing to get in the ring with CM Punk. So what's so big about CM Punk and Seth Rollins? Outside of winning the Rumble, which he didn't do, what would be a good story that storyline wanting fans who really watch the product get that they would be happy with CM Punk winning?
The only thing from how people reacted when Seth Rollins and CM Punk is CM Punk is that guy who said everything he wanted to say, did everything he needed to do, and most of it was actually true, by the way, if you want to keep it honest about WWE. And Seth Rollins is, I want to say the face of WWE, but he carried the WWE shield on his back when CM Punk was doing what he was doing. So it's like, okay, the guy who kept the brand going against the guy, even though he was right on most of the accounts that he was talking, said a lot of things about said WWE. And plus, you're gonna be in Philly, which will push the birth of ECW, and most fans in that city that you know better than me still remembers ECW, and they remember CM Punk as the ECW guy.
So let me rebuttal quickly. CM Punk got in the ring and said, I'm a better son or carrier on the torch of Dusty than you are. I'm telling you, basically, I'm better at being your dad's son than you. But that's not a more intriguing story. You know what I'm saying?
Between him and Cody, that was
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So you had him have these intriguing moments with multiple people. So people want to focus on how he had it with Seth, but he had the same type of moment with Cody. Him and Drew, electric in the ring. That's some of the best mic work I've ever seen from Drew. So there were three distinct.
Matter of fact, before you continue, talk about that promo between Drew and CM Punk, because that was the most heelish Drew I seen in a long time.
So I ain't gonna talk about the promo between Drew and CM Punk. I'm gonna just say Drew got in him. CM Punk, he did the CM Punk stuff, but Drew came from a different angle. He started off as a babyface, and by the end of the promo, he was a heel. And I loved it. I'm there for it, and I love heel Drew. What I want to talk about is when Drew came out Monday night, got in Punk's face, and basically told him, I don't believe in religion, but I prayed that you would get hurt, and you got hurt.
And you got hurt at my expense, too.
And you got hurt at my expense. I also want to talk about how Drew came out on the intro to live show, house show, did the CM Punk thing, and then told the fans that he needs to update his moves, and the Future Shot DDT is no longer going to be the Future Shot DDT. He wants to name it something in honor of CM Punk. So drop some comments. And he also put out another video on, it was either TikTok or Instagram, where he was saying, hey, Punk, you got to work on the triceps. So he started doing tricep workouts on the video. I want to talk about how great Drew McIntyre is taking something that really happened and building himself up as a heel. I expect to see him in a prominent role at WrestleMania.
I see him having
or WWE is garbage.
I see him having that title at some point in time right before Punk comes back. I can see where this is going.
But that's what I'm saying. You got that type of work, but it feels like, I'm not there, so I can't say for sure, but it feels like they were headed towards Punk and Rollins. But honestly, since he's returned to WWE, what has Punk done to deserve to skip the line? I don't see anything.
Same thing as what The Rock has done.
Right. Now you see why I have a problem.
Oh, I'm not saying I have
with The Rock. And
I'm not saying I have a problem. You know, everybody.
I want to connect it for those who may not understand. I know you do, but I want to connect it for our fine community who may not understand, right? So CM Punk walked out of the company 9-some years ago. Why? Because he was tired of part-timers coming in and taking people's positions at the top of the card. Now, CM Punk wasn't going to be a part-timer. So I'm not saying he was going to be a part-timer. But how would you feel if some dude just got signed, walked in, and went to the front of the line? Everybody in the locker room should be pissed if that was what they were going to do. The other championship, if it's a championship match, or the other WrestleMania main event, if it's just for the head of the table, whatever. You got Cody. We've been promised for a year. And let's be real, we've been promised. It's subtle, but we've been promised. We got it. It was right there. Politicking takes it away from us.
I gotta give Triple H credit. It's hard to keep any type of star that relevant for a whole year and them not getting the title.
And the only belt he got was a run for 2 weeks with the Undisputed Tag Team Championships.
Speaking of that other championship, because
you're not gonna pay, you gotta give people payoff.
I gotta get this in because now like I said, it seems on the surface Rock reigns Mania. So that means on the other surface, if Rollins makes it to WrestleMania, Rollins World Heavyweight Championship. Now I know the main problem is Cody beat him 3 times. What does Cody have to prove? All that stuff. Cool, I'm not going to come from that perspective, okay? Roman Reigns literally destroyed that title and Seth Rollins on Friday night. Literally. I'm like going back and listen to the promo for a second time. I'm just like, man, they might have to rethink their position because I don't think y'all can put that title on Cody, bro. After what Roman Reigns did on Friday, you can't put that title on Cody.
And just to give you some highlights of what Roman said, in case you didn't see it, or in case you forgot, he called it the B Championship. He said how Seth Rollins trying to carry the company on his back, and his back broke, and then he did a funny walk and said, "This is how does your champion walk like this?" And that was how Seth Rollins was walking, so that was true.
Another thing he said was true. Then he beat everybody who competed for that championship.
Well, he does eliminate the fact that he never beat Seth Rollins. He does leave that factor out.
He did,
but he did say he beat everybody. That was just the Constellation Championship. Cody talked about the lineage of the world of the WWE Championship. And Roman said, "I'm not going to beg you to fight me. I'm just going to tell you, if you want to be the big dog, if you want to be the A champion, if you want to be respected as the champ, fight me. You want to be the secondary champ, fight Rollins."
He also fired back himself about the work scheduling. He said, "Yeah, I work less than you. Matter of fact, 10 times as less than you, but I make 10 times more money." I was like, Roman's completely destroyed Seth Rollins in the World Heavyweight Championship.
And now you're gonna say Cody wants to go fight for that?
You can't have Cody fight for that. Now that one, I'm in agreement with that. You can't have Cody fight for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now after what happened, Roman Reigns completely destroyed that whole title. That whole title don't mean nothing now when it comes to Roman Reigns and the WWE Undisputed Championship. That is clearly the secondary title. I give Wallace credit because he has been defending the hell out that title and making it worth something until Roman Reigns decided to say, let's make this abundantly clear, okay? I'm the guy. I have the title. And that's what he did on Friday.
It is. And there was no lies in what he said.
If you Seth Rollins, I don't know how you come back from that. I just don't. And you talking about having your Royal Rumble ring to go for the secondary title? When he had made it abundantly clear minutes after he won the Royal Rumble what title he was coming from, and then reiterated it on SmackDown. He just added the part that destroyed a lot of people's hearts by saying not at WrestleMania.
Honestly, if it's not going to be a WrestleMania, don't even win.
Which begs another question.
I don't care if you win a SummerSlam.
Which begs another question. Really do that though? Your Royal Rumble winner not main eventing WrestleMania? That's like the most oddest thing in the world.
If it's got anything to do with Dwayne, it's apparently so.
But Dwayne know how important the Rumble is.
Well, I will tell you this. If you follow him on Twitter, if you follow him on Instagram, you will know he is being getting laid into by the fans.
Oh, I know.
And I'm here for it. I'm here for
it. I know. That's why I said we have a whole 2 months for this, okay? You got a whole 2 months to get through to see how this plays out, because this is going one way right now.
WWE better be glad that I do this show. You better be 1,000% glad that I agreed to consistently do this show with my man over here. Because if not,
Now, gotta get this in because I know we spent a lot of time on this one. And trust me, this is just the beginning. We're gonna talk about more of this whole because there's so much more angles to this WrestleMania with The Rock, Roman, Cody, Seth. It's a lot more angles to cover. Okay, but in fairness, our women's Royal Rumble made her decision. And cool, it was not how you thought it was going to go.
No, it wasn't. It was better. I didn't think WWE would do this. So if you missed that and all the other haberdashery, tomfoolery, and things that were going on, Bayley basically came out, let Io know. I know Japanese. I know what you've been saying. You thought I did, but I did. And I thought you girls had my back, created this group for us to all be champions. You brought them in, and you turned your back on me. But we got to rewind a quick bit. They were in the locker room talking about this is the end for Bayley. And Bayley was around the corner and heard him. And Playmaker, I'll let you take it from there.
So, now, remember, Bayley was on Monday Night Raw. She was doing her thing. She was getting ready, to make her pick. And, Mommy came out there, said her words until the irresistible force Nia Jax came out and put Mommy on notice. Also put Bayley on notice, too. Oh, yeah, and while she was putting Bayley on notice, the rest of Damage Control got out the ring, leaving Bayley by herself.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Bayley's like, I'll make my announcement on SmackDown. Now I just gave her a look. Yeah, you better.
Mm-hmm.
Mommy was on SmackDown. She was in the backstage, watching. Notice, somebody was missing from Damage Control. Oddly enough, because she was on Raw, but somehow she wasn't on SmackDown. Dakota Kai was missing. So and as Cool said, when she was doing her promo, a switch just happened. And she said what she said. Oh, I knew exactly what y'all was doing. I knew the whole time. Bayley picked at her spot. And she knew what was going to happen because what did the Kabuki Warriors do? They attacked Bayley. But Bayley is one step ahead of everybody. I'm just going to put Bayley's one step ahead of her because she had a weapon lying and waiting for when she got attacked.
That's pretty impressive.
She let it be known, Io, I'm coming for you.
Mm-hmm.
Bayley has officially turned face. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Dakota Kai going forward. I'm looking forward to that aspect of this. Is she going to side with Bayley, who brought her into the main roster? Or is she going to stick with her girls that she was used to it down in NXT? That's an interesting dynamic to see. And the other question for me when it comes to the women, obviously, who's going to face Mommy at WrestleMania? Most likely it's going to be Becky Lynch.
I think they're going to do an elimination chamber match for who's going to be the.
But if I'm being completely honest, I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but if I'm being completely honest, I hate to say it because I love the man, but I don't think the man deserved that match. I think that match should probably go to Nia Jax.
Well, I like doing the elimination chamber. The reason I like doing that is it gives everybody an opportunity. It gives 6 people an opportunity, to go face her. Because my thing is, you have to make whoever doesn't win the Rumble, they have to jump through some hoops to get to WrestleMania, right?
I'm with you with that. I'm just saying,
Another problem I have with The Rock.
I prefer Nia Jax win the chamber, but I prefer Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley go at it because I want to see how that goes.
I wouldn't even be surprised if Nia Jax is in the main event. If she just walks and says, "I'm in the main event," she's in the main event. She's The Rock's cousin. Apparently, he tells everybody what to do now.
But at least he put money on notice.
The Rock put his cousin on notice.
No, what I'm saying, when I say put her on notice, I mean like this ain't a one-time thing. Like Nia just been trying to get at Rhea for the longest.
Well, that's true.
Like this been going on. This ain't nothing new. This been going on. They just haven't faced each other.
Still The Rock's cousin. That doesn't hurt.
And sometimes it's who you know and not what you know.
Definitely seems to be the case, at least in my mind.
I know you stuck on a rock.
And going back to the whole setup with the women. We had an idea. We believed Bayley was going to go after one championship. She won the Rumble. Couple of differences. We didn't have Io Sky run down the WWE Women's Heavyweight Championship, did we? We didn't have Io Sky do that. We didn't have Io Sky talk about how she's the star and everyone else is just B. Right? So if Bayley had went on and faced Rhea Ripley, they didn't drag one belt through the mud. And then turn around and tell somebody that you're going to go and compete for that championship that we just dragged through the mud. They did that on the men's side. Why? I'll tell you why. Because you have a guy at champ that doesn't even have to show up. The contract that Roman Reigns has is brilliant. Whoever negotiated that contract for him, I need you to contact me so that you can help me with some sponsorships and stuff. Because you, sir or ma'am, are amazing at what you do. You show up when you want to for big stuff, and every once in a while, you take 4-month breaks and still be champion. Still get the big bucks. And you ain't even showing up. And you know what? While we're talking about this, I'm going to tie this into something else because we got plenty of time to talk about this. I'm not done. We're talking about this on other shows, so don't think this is one and done. What I think is interesting is SmackDown is no longer going to be on Fox. The majority of the SmackDown era on Fox was with Roman Reigns champion, not showing up. Do you think that maybe Fox said, forget this. I'm not giving your clowns all this money, and we don't even have a champ that's on the show? You think that could have happened?
I need to see Fox numbers though. Because that's the A show.
But here's the thing with Fox. So the numbers are one thing. But if you're going to continually have a guy that's not going to show up, what do you think has happened to those numbers the last 2-3 months? Did you remember the Bloodline was doing their thing? It was riding high. All the numbers was through the roof. We had people that didn't even watch wrestling talking about the Bloodline. So them people now ask them about the Bloodline. They don't know what's happening. They don't care anymore. You know why they don't care anymore? Because WWE told them not to care. Because WWE told them, we care so little about you people that don't even really watch wrestling, watching this show and waiting for that pop from the Bloodline, that we're going to take 1/3, because only had 3 members at that point, besides Paul Heyman, and let him take 4 months off.
Another way Roman killed Seth. He said, my little brother Seth Rollins.
He did.
Nobody said nothing. Exactly. No. I'm like, wow.
Because even with taking time off, even with not appearing much, Roman Reigns comes out, he does his Bloodline entrance. He tells you to acknowledge him, you acknowledge him. Good or bad, you can just been talking trash about him, you acknowledge him. So, another aspect, you're trying to take away from me coming out and hearing, whoa, all the fireworks and stuff going out. Hopefully the symphonic version that I do have online that I listen to from time to time because I do like Cody's Interest music. And then before that happens, probably, or actually probably after that happens, depending on when Roman will want to come out, You hear him walk out with the whole squad, get in the ring, and tell this Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to acknowledge him. You're taking it away from us. Now, don't get me wrong. The Rock comes out and says, if you smell what the Rock is cooking, the crowd, they love to see the Rock, right? They love to pop, especially when he surprises you.
We is talking about Philly, though.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you one thing about Philadelphia, my second home. I'm going to tell you one thing about Philadelphia. You come up in there with that nonsense. You think he won't get booed? Oh, he getting booed. If the Rock walks in that match, he getting booed.
Ain't the first time he got booed in Philly.
He getting booed. Don't forget years ago.
Somebody that I follow on Instagram gave me a reminder. Anybody remember the Royal Rumble when Roman Reigns won it?
Mm-hmm.
That was in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
That was in Philly. With the Rock set. Guess what the reaction was?
Boo.
How ironic, years later, WrestleMania's in Philly.
And you'll get booed again.
We did say long story storytelling, right? We sitting here, we connected dots from years ago to where we are now. It's with the same people. Ain't nobody changed. It's just amazing how this comes together. I mean, trust me, there's a lot more to get into because this is a little teaser for a show that's coming up. Don't know when we're going to get to this, but there's a certain person in that family that's that free agent now. Just going to throw that out there.
Go ahead and put the name out there, sir. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, my Cool McCain, his boy Jacob Fatu is a free agent.
And where's the last place he showed up at? Reality of Wrestling. And who runs Reality of Wrestling? Let me give you a quick hint. Quick answer. First name Booker, last name T. Now, can you dig that? Sucker.
I'm just telling y'all can have y'all initial reaction because that's what happens. It happened on SmackDown. You got to react to it. You got to do something with it. But remember this. We still got the rest of this month and all of March to get through. It might be a roller coaster ride before we get to April.
Let's just say, for argument's sake, let's say they go on with the Rock Roman match, right? Head of the table, championship, both, whatever. Let's say the Rock brings out Jacob Fatu, Zilla Fatu, right? A couple of other people from the Anoa'i bloodline dynasty. Maybe Jey Uso hops over in Roman's corner, right? So maybe it looks like the bloodline's at a disadvantage. But who's to say Jacob Fatu, Zilla Fatu won't turn and join the bloodline and help Rock loose and beat Jey Uso down? We don't know. So there are other angles. But what I will say is you don't tell a story up to the point of we're at the payoff. We've gotten here. You took a guy and let's be real. Last year coming into WrestleMania, Cody had nuclear heat following. Like this man was like nitroglycerin hot. Like he was blue flame hot.
Yeah, and part of that is because he was the most credible person that you can think that was going to be thrown Roman.
So he didn't win. He didn't get the rematch. He got sidetracked. You managed to keep him hot for a year. You get back. I wouldn't say he's blue flame hot, but I'd say he's white flame hot. Right? He's a little bit less hot, but not too much. And you're going to at least even just tease. Let's just say this is a work, so they're having some fun, whatever. You're even going to tease that. Do you know how many people you could have literally just say, you know what? Screw WWE, screw WrestleMania. I'm putting my tickets on resale. I don't even care if I get all the money back or not. I'm done. I'm not saying people will, but I'm saying people could. And you're going to do that a couple of months before WrestleMania. So one of the things I always do if I'm going to WrestleMania, I'm considering going, I always wait until the last minute to get tickets. And sometimes you pay a few more dollars or whatever. because I want to make sure WWE doesn't do this type of crap before I give them my hard-earned money and support a garbage card. And I'm gonna say this right now: Raw after WrestleMania is where you might see me in Philly, unless you see me on them streets in Philly. Get a cheesesteak or something.
I'm just going to tell you, well, who has been to a WrestleMania before? So
Multiple.
exactly, I've been to a WrestleMania, right? If you've never been to a WrestleMania, no matter how this goes, I'm telling you to go. This is going to be a experience that you never forget. All right.
Well, you never
Cool.
forget it.
This is a experience you're never going to forget if you've never been to WrestleMania.
It may not be for the reasons you want to remember it, but you're gonna remember.
Because wrestling is a reason why they got all them darn nicknames for WrestleMania. Because you're not going to see another wrestling event like it. So, if you're going to be a first timer, I'm just saying, if you ain't, especially if you already got your tickets, go. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy yourself. Okay? Especially the fact it's 2 nights. See, when I went and when Cool went, it was 1 night. Probably the longest night we ever had, but it was worth it. Get there at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you ain't leaving out there till midnight.
4 o'clock.
If you him, you got there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and then leave till midnight. It's gonna be an experience that you never seen before. And trust me, the hours that you waiting, oh, that's worth it too. Cause I seen some stuff that I never thought I would see.
Well, see, here's the thing. Like I have belts, right? I have belts, so I go, I grab my belts, walk around with your belts. You got people want to, hold your belt, want to take picture with you because you got a belt. It's great. It's a wonderful experience. You see people that's like dressed up with a belt, and you got your belt, and maybe like I've got the WWE Championship, the black one, so I'm gonna probably take that, and I got the old World Heavyweight, so I might take both of them, right? So I go with those on. People want to take pictures. People will have the other belts. They want to take pictures with you. Take pictures, give the belts. You have a lot of fun because you get to interact with a lot of other wrestling folk. And if you watch, shows like this, then clearly you are wrestling folk. So as wrestling folk, you want to have an opportunity to be around people that appreciate the things you like, old vintage T-shirts, you dressing up like the Undertaker, you dressing up like Doink or whoever, right? You want to be around people, that are not going to look at you like, you freak. This is your place, right? This is the equivalent of an anime convention for wrestling fans. And I've been to anime convention, and they are very fun as well. But same concept. So I do agree, if you haven't been, you don't want to go to one. But for me, I've experienced it. So you got to give me something to make me want to go back. And what I see WWE doing right now, as of this moment, I'm definitely not buying night 2. You know what I'm saying? Definitely not. But one of the things, like Playmaker said, we talked about this and how this is garbage, and it is, and how people are getting backlash. WWE might see this and be like, hey, you know what? Rock, we're going to need you to slow your roll, pimping. You came up here and told us this and that and this and that. That's not what we're getting from the people. So we are going to have to do a repivot because people ain't feeling it. And like I said earlier, I've said it multiple times tonight, you don't give CM Punk a shot walking in the door unless you're going to have him win the Rumble. The moment you don't have him win the Rumble, you're saying you're not main eventing this year. You can have a match at WrestleMania, but you're not main eventing. I don't think that was the case. Seth Rollins gets hurt. Instead of doing the right thing and stripping him, and when I say stripping him, I mean letting him get beat by Damian Priest, using the Money in the Bank, which is a logical way to get the belt off of him. I'm going to fight through it. I'm going to be at WrestleMania. I'm going to defend my championship. So if you're a guy like Cody and you beat up Seth Rollins for the 4th time, that doesn't make you look good for a B belt that Roman Reigns already trashed.
Severely trashed.
After basically saying, all right, Rock, I really want this belt, but because you say so, I'll go after this belt. Like, there's so many just negative connotations by the way WWE went through this whole process. Like you letting Roman Reigns go out there and trash the World Heavyweight Championship, and then you're gonna have Cody go compete for it. You're gonna let The Rock just walk in to the front of the line because he's The Rock. You're not gonna give other guys an opportunity who've been workhorses for your company for the entire year because you wanted to bring in Brock Lesnar, who does not move the needle any longer. Does not. Waste of time. It is. Don't need him.
That's it.
Braun Breaker took his spot in the Royal Rumble
and did very well. They hit the panic button. They hit the panic button.
And here's the problem with them hitting the panic button. You're screwing it up, and you're not thinking logically. You're not following the flow of build-up. You're not finishing the story. You're not doing solid storytelling. You're not being logical.
Not only that, you're not taking into consider you have time. You literally have 2 whole months. You have 1 Premier Live event left, and you have 2 months before the main show happens. With me saying that they could have been doing this to see where people would be at.
And that was my next point. There is also the possibility that this is what they want. Because I was actually talking with one of my friends that's a wrestling fan, and we're saying basically, hey, everybody's talking about WWE. It's the top trending topic, whatever. And this is true. You got us on here, hour and a half show, where we talk about 3 different wrestling promotions. We spent 10 minutes or so on one. We ain't talk about the other one. The rest of the time we've been talking about WWE. Is this not what we feel like WWE will want? Absolutely. Is this ingenious? Absolutely. Is this like being a Philadelphia Eagles fan for pro wrestling? Yes, it is. After this past season. Yes. And I say that to say, you making people go through these emotional roller coaster that you don't have to do. Now, I get maybe this is a ploy. This is a way to gauge things. And if so, hey, more props to you. You suckered me too. But I'm going to tell you, if Cody, and I'm going to use real names here, Cody Runnels does not leave WrestleMania with Roman Reigns Championship, it's a problem. Period.
Next week, I'm gonna have my rebuttal to that next week because, like I said, there's a lot of different angles at this. There's some stuff we didn't even talk about. I'm saving it for next week. Ooh, this is gonna be a fun ride.
And I just want you to know, Playmaker, too. Don't think that I've dispensed all the bullets from my gun.
Oh, I know. But I'm just putting back a layer at a time. A layer at a time. Don't worry. Join us next week. Because we got more for you. We just scratched the surface on this topic. Because there's a lot more angles for me to come through. And next week, I'm going to come from an angle of what if the tribal chief does win at WrestleMania? What does that tell me what they're doing? Which also would point to a reason why maybe they did not want Cody versus Roman at Mania.
So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I don't have any problem with not having Cody Rhodes win. But here's what I want people to understand. If you weren't going to have him finish the story, that's fine. Don't have him win the Rumble. And then you have your built-in thing. You had the opportunity, Cody. You couldn't get the job done. You let him get the job done. Now we're getting and this other poppycock, hogwash, molly-whopping crap and all that. Haberdashery being thrown at me. But there's more behind the scenes, I think. I think that you have warring groups. I think you have the group led by Triple H and the wrestling purists, the guys who want to kind of set up the things and do long-term storytelling. And then you have Dwayne Johnson and those guys who are more like, oh, we want to try to make the most money as possible. And I just don't think these moves really move the needle. Right? If I'm truthfully, man, if I'm one of those other wrestlers, I'm one of these other guys, and I see them come in, start bringing these part timers, start switching up stuff, start saying we do this and we do that. The Rock got his own creative guy. Somebody asked me about it. This is what I got to say.
Cannot play with him. Cannot win with him. Cannot coach with him. Can't do it.
That's how I feel. That's how I would say.
You got all the old coaches, don't you?
A lot.
Because that's the second Right Secretary you played on this show. And that's the first time you played that one.
And I want to say what we're all believing that TKO was doing, what we all believe is happening, it's not very cool. And when things are not cool, this is how I feel about it.
I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
Right now, TKO, you're not wanting to be cool. So I'm going to end the last thing I'm going to say on the show this week is simply this. As I sat there, as I'm watching SmackDown Friday, as we can see, and I saw this after everybody else, right? So I'm seeing alerts come through. Oh my goodness, what are they doing to Cody? I'm like, so as I go watch, walks out, says what he says. He says what he says. He says, not at WrestleMania. Thank you. And that's all I got to say, sir.
Only him and Stone Cold can take one word and make it so popular. Good gracious. I know there's other stuff we could have got into that happened on SmackDown because a lot of good stuff happened on SmackDown. But we know we had to get the main stuff in here. Like I said, there's a lot of layers to this main stuff. But next week, I will recap some of the other stuff that happened because some stuff that we've been waiting on actually happened on SmackDown, but we'll get to that next week.
Should Cody Rhodes be the main event at WrestleMania and win the WWE Championship?
Yes! Yes! Yes!
And somebody referenced that too when they start saying the hashtag "We Want Cody."
Yep.
And if that does work, that'll be the third time this has actually happened. The Yes Chance with Daniel Bryan, Kofi Mania. Let's see, we want Cody. Let's see how well this works. We want Cody.
We do want Cody. That we do. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you tell 2 of your friends, 4 of your enemies about the boys on Monarchs of Wrestling. Because just because they don't like you doesn't mean they won't like us. For my man, the Playmaker, it's your boy Cool McCain. Make sure you check me out. You want to find everything I do? Just go right there. Boom. You ain't got to hear no whole bunch of stuff. Just go right there. Check me out. Everybody who sees the show, we appreciate you watching. We appreciate your comments. Again, this is pre-recorded, so we won't be able to see your comments, but definitely keep them dropping. definitely keep watching. And we'll be back hopefully next week with a live one for you. And we'll still be talking the same thing. We're adding the recaps because we got to get to some of the points we wanted to make. Your boy Cool McCain got 3 or 4 more hours worth of stuff he go into right now. But we can't do that. Even though I want to. We'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. Bring somebody with you. Holla at your boys.